Cities of Sigmar broken? Hello, welcome to us, Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. In this video, we're going to be looking at the event results from all over the world this weekend. The Age of Sigmar event results and who has done the best. 378 people competing over several different countries. 4 different countries, 10 events. There has been so much scuttlebutt over some of the armies which are doing so well, and we are going to find out in this review. We'll be looking at the army lists, we're talking about the players, and most importantly, we'll be talking about the locations. But the big question we need to ask ourselves, are cities broken? Let's find out. So our first event takes us to America, to Washington, I think. I don't know if that's right. Tacoma. I don't know where anywhere it is. It's in America. We got 98 people at this event, organized by Games Workshop themselves. If we go and look at 98 players, it makes it one of our largest GTs of this General's Handbook so far. Don't forget, there's only really been about 4 weeks worth of event data. So anyone out there who's decrying that armies are broken or aren't broken is obviously an idiot. So don't listen to them, including the beginning of this video. If we look at the event results of this event, there are 3 people in the 5-0 bracket. That means that they went undefeated, and it's James Terwilliger with Soulblight Gravelords, Fred Smith, we love Fred, with Daughters of Cain, and Carson Whitlock, also a great dude, with Ogre More Tribes. Can't believe it. That does say to me that Daughters of Cain are probably broken, though. Let's just say it out loud. James Terwilliger is running a list called We Drink Your Blood. He was running the Bacchanal of Blood battle formation. He was using Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy as his 2 battle tactics. Then he was running Vordry, 10 Blood Knights, Vampire Lord on Nightmare Seed, Death Rattle Skeletons, and a unit of Varghese. Don't forget those 2 units of Blood Knights were reinforced. It's a solid loadout. Absolutely solid. It can be very aggro, but what I like about this is instead of committing to another unit of Blood Knights, instead he gave himself some small tradable pieces in the Death Rattle Skeletons, one of which was reinforced. You know, you just put out some skeletons on an objective. 20 skeletons you can't clear with like a small unit. You have to commit something a little bit bigger. And when you commit something a little bit bigger, you can countercharge in with the Blood Knights and Vordry, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot. All very solid. Also, Intercept and Recover. Now, we're slowly getting into people's maybe second GTs, and we might start to see a change up in which battle tactics have been chosen. Fred Smith is running a list called On Nights Such as This, Evil Deeds Are Done, and Good Deeds, of course, but mostly evil on the whole. On nights such as this, witches are abroad. Well, not actually abroad. They don't like the food, and you can't trust the water, and the shamans always hog the deck chairs. Well done to Fred. That's a solid list. If you don't know, the Age of Sigmar list writing app has no limit on how long a list name you can create. So he was running a Daughters of Cain Arena Veterans list using Wrathful Cycles and Scouting Force. Now, this is quite different. Fred also plays a lot online, so he will have had a lot of iterative games to build up to this, which I think is fun. He is running Cruessa the Croneseer, the new one, the Scourgic Aran one. If you don't know, right now in Age of Sigmar, there are the War Scrolls that you can either get in your Battle Tomes or free indexes online. And in addition, for the next year, well, from the summer of this year till the summer of next year, Games Workshop has released a bunch of additional War Scrolls. So the Cruessa the Croneseer currently has 2 War Scrolls that are available for you to play. You could choose one or the other. So there's a lot of like options and permutations, and I personally am really supportive of that. I think it's cool. Anyway, 2 units of Witch Elves with paired knives, Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood, and then 20 Sisters of Slaughter with bladed bucklers. Then a Bloodrack Shrine and 4 units of Canary Life Takers. So Life Takers are amazing. He's spending 320 points on always being able to just annoy people with grabbing objectives, doing battle tactics, especially as he's taken Scouting Force. And then the rest of the army is going to fight as a single, like, horrible bubble in the middle that's going to just get smashed. Really, really strong. So much output from those units. And Fred's a great player as well. Carson Whitlock, also another amazing player, is running a list called Can You Believe It? Ground beef is $10 a pound. Anyway, he's running an Ogre More Tribes list called More Path Menaces. Using the More Path Menaces battle formation. He is running the Restless Energy and Master the Path battle tactics. And then he's got a Slaughtermaster, a unit of Noblars, a Butcher, another unit of Noblars, a Gorge of Morpack, a Bloodbelt Hunter, a reinforced unit of Iron Guts, a reinforced unit of Gluttons, and then a Scourge of Garan Iron Blaster. Now, this is Carson's second GT, and maybe also his second 5.0 with Ogres in this GHB alone. So very impressive. What is really impressive about this is it's really moving away from those singular, large, massive bricks where all of the points here doesn't get consumed into being just another unit of Gluttons or another unit of Iron Guts. And instead, there's these small tradable pieces like Noblars and these utility pieces like the Gorge and Morpack and the Bloodbelt Hunter, both of which are really effective at being able to like be on parts of the board which your opponent is going to have to either screen against or they're just going to go and take objectives. They're going to go do battle tactics. So very fun to see. Yeah, very cool. Those are our top 3 armies. So I'm just going to say right now, it's important to say Soulblight Gravelord's broken, Daughters of Cain broken, and Ogre More Tribes also broken. Simultaneously, all broken at the same time. It's a disaster, really. Okay, we're going to go and look at the 4-1s. You can see I was once asking for you to nerfs army I don't own. Right, looking at the 4-1s, we have a really healthy, just like I've said this every week for the last 3 weeks of this GHB, so it's worth pointing out we have a healthy and diverse series of obviously Americans in Shambles. I said diverse. But a healthy series of factions represented in these top slots. But there are some standout themes available. So we can see Dylan, who went 5-0 last week. Shout out to Dylan, one of my heroes, running Cities of Sigmar. Adam with Soulblight Gravelords. Matthew with Soulblight Gravelords. Matt Beasley, a great player with Disciples of Tzeentch. Leo Ratunen, one of my favorite people with Nighthaunt. Shout out to Leo. Mason Knox with Skaven. Mason's great. Cameron Swanson with Disciples of Tzeentch. Alexander Giga with OCR Bone Reapers. Matthias Crucial, also a great player with Slaves to Darkness. Max Weeks of Flesh Eater Courts. Ezzy with Hedonites of Sinesh, Bryce with Cities of Sigmar, Christopher with Soulblight Gravelords, Joseph with Slaves of Darkness, Kyle with Cities of Sigmar, Tad, and that's it. So if we were to take some consistent themes out of here, I'd say that we would be looking at Cities of Sigmar and we would looking at Soulblight Gravelords as the 2 consistent themes here. But Skaven are featured, Tzeentch are featured, Bone Reapers are featured. Like, there can only be so many factions that exist in the 4-1 section. But if I was like the game designers right now, I'd be looking at this like, if they get the event results back from their own GT and they see 3 different armies in the 5.0 and a diverse section of armies in the 4-1 bracket, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be like, great. Like, everyone's going to be pretty happy about that. So let's go look at the different armies. First one, Dylan is running a list called I'm quite certain that the crimes of this guilty land will never be purged away with blood. I had, as I now think vainly, flattered myself that without very much bloodshed, it might be done. Cities of Sigmar list using Fearless Exemplars, which was a battle tactic. He was using Master of the Paths and Wrathful Cycles. Then he had a steam tank commander called John Brand, Pontifex Sinestra, Callus and Toll, a Freegal Marshal Relic Envoy, a Fugitive Major on Ogre Warhawk, 2 units of, 2 reinforced units, 1 of Cavaliers and 1 of Fusiliers, neither of which using the Scourge of Garan ones. I know they're only for Cavaliers. 3 Freegal Command Corps and a Battle Mage. So solid. Dylan went 5-0 last week and then went 4-1 this week. Good force, plays a very good kind of like tank and spank build. As you can see, 0 cannons in this build. Important to point out. Okay, then we got Adam Boatmont with a Blood of the Beast list, which was a Soulblight Gravelord's Bacchanal Blood list with Scouting Force and Wrathful Cycles. He had the Vengo Lord, which actually is a hot pick right now. A lot of people are very excited about the Vengori Lord in Soulblight Gravelords. 2 units of Baronites, a White Lord on Skeletal Steed, Radikar the Beast, Prince Vordry, unit of Varghese, and 2 more units of Varghese. This is a wild pick. Radikar featuring is super interesting. Going almost MSU with the build, but obviously with a big hammer piece that is Vordry. That's very cool. Very fun to see. And also quite intentional. The Vengo Lord, I think, is a great pick. Matthew Davison is running a list called I Only Use a Straw, which is a Soulblight Gravelord's Bacchanal Blood list using Scouting Force and Wrathful Cycles. Lukavai, another Vangori Lord, but the named one. Blood Knights, Reinforced Varghese again. Vampire Lord on Nightmare Steeds, 2 units of Baronites, 1 of which is reinforced, and another unit of Baronites. So again, those Varghese coming in pretty clutch in these lists. Very popular. They're very popular right now. Definitely worth investigating them more. For sure, well done to Matthew. Matt Beasley was running a list called Ogroid Boop, which is a Disciples of Tzeentch Weird Flame list with Attuned to Garan and Wrathful Cycles. He had Kairos, Chaosborn of Tzeentch, 2 units of Jade Obelisk, which Tzeentch fans keep telling me are brilliant. I don't know if I trust them. Zangor Enlightened on Disc of Tzeentch, Scourge of Garan Ogroid Thermitage, another unit of Jade Obelisk, Scourge of Garan Ogroid Thermitage again, gross. A unit of Caracacolites, Lord Scouted, and then the Regiment of Renown, Lord Scouted is Chosen, which is a Chaos Lord and Demonic Mount, a unit of Chaos Warriors, and a unit of Chaos Knights. Perfect for holding objectives and just being 3-up armor save, like high wound density units. The rest of the list, I'd love Matt to explain to me in greater detail. Matt's the sort of person who probably plans things more than Kairos Fateweaver, to be honest, and is more right than Kairos has ever been. So this will be fun to look at in the future. Definitely those Jade Obelisk units. That'll be very fun. 2+ save on an objective you control. There you go. Leo Ratunen is running a list called Hot Ghost Summer, running a Night Haunt Procession of Death list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force. He's running a Guardian of Souls, a reinforced unit of Bladegeist Revenants and Chain Ghasts, 2 units of Mimron Banshees, Alrak the Drowner, a reinforced unit of Hex Wraiths, and a Scourge of Garan Black Coach. Now, Alrak has been popping up in more Night Haunt lists over the past couple of weeks, so go back and look at his War Scroll and see what you think about that. Mason Knox ran a list called Hell's Bells, which is a Skaven list, and he was running Attune to Gran and Intercept and Recover. He had a Deathmaster, another Deathmaster, another Deathmaster. He had the Scourge of Garan Gracier on Screaming Bell. And then he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Deathmasters, and the Regiment of Renown Nurgle's Gift with the double Nurglings. This list went 4-1, and Mason is a genius. Congratulations. Mason wins our Genius of the Week award. In fact, we actually don't give that out very often. I'm going to go for Genius of the Month. Well done to Mason. Now, a lot of people are saying that they hate spam, but no one's mad at the Deathmaster list. Fantastic. Love that. Mason has also done a video on how he plays this list. It's on a channel called Always Strikes Last. So if you want to go and look at that, go to the Always Strikes Last channel. And that's where you can go and find a video about how this plays. So again, just to repeat, Always Strikes Last YouTube channel. Go check it out. He'll talk about how to play it there. Okay, then we got Cameron Swanson running a list called The Bird in the Back Said Everyone Attack, and it turned into a Zangor Blitz, which is Disciples of Tzeentch Weird Flame host list with Intercept and Recover and Scouting Force. He had Kairos, a unit of Jade Obelisk, Caracalites, 2 reinforced units of Zangors, an Ogroid Thaumatage, 2 units of Skyfires, and the Zangor Enlightened on discs. Now, we're getting much more fighty and much more outputty Tzeentch lists now, especially the Zangor. It does feel like the demons are not as good at the moment since the GHB, and it's definitely about these Zangor units. So I will continue to see that, but I don't think a lot of people who bought into Tzeentch bought anything but the demons, and I think people just buy Zangor because they have to. So we'll see if we see more Tzeentch players running that around. We'll have to see. Alexander Giga was running a list called Grind, which was an OCR Bone Reapers list using Attune to Gran and Intercept and Recover. He had an Ossifector, a Crawler, a Bone Shaper, a Harvester, Reinforced Unit of Mortek Guard, a Bone Shaper, a Harvester, another Reinforced Unit of Mortek Guard, a Bone Shaper, and a Reinforced Unit of Archai. Whoa. Amazing. Amazing. So yeah, that big unit just runs across the board, smashes face. You do some shooting, and then you've got some dudes to hold the objectives. Super easy. Well done to Alexander Giga. Matthias Crushel was running a list called Legion of the First Prince, which was a Legion of the First Prince list, running Restless Energy and Intercept and Recover. He had Bellicor, 1, 2, 3 units of Legion of the First Prince Blood Crushers, Reinforced unit of Flamers Tzeentch, Chaos Lord, and a reinforced unit of Varangard in the list as well. So that is a lot. That is a lot of high health, high density wound units to hold the board, and then a big smashy piece. That is very fun. Max Weeks was running a list called Just a Friendly Backyard Barbecue, which is a Flesh Eater Court's Lord of the Mana list, running Wrathful Cycles and Restless Energy. Using Ushran, reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights, 2 smaller units of Morbeg Knights and a Royal Terrorgeist, then a Gore Warden, a Mara Scroll Herald, and a Boron Cardinal, and a reinforced unit, a small unit of Crypt Flares. Nice to see the Flesh Eater Courts back as well, and they have featured over the past few weeks actually. Ezzy was running a list called I Don't Have a Plan, which is a Hedonites of Slaanesh Pretenders list, running Scouting Force and Master of the Paths, with Sigvald, 2 units of Blizzbarb Seekers, a reinforced unit of Slickblade Seekers, a Keeper of Secrets, and 2 units of Demonettes. Contorted Epitome, and then the Original Renown, the God's Mark Ascended, which was a Demon Prince with Strongest Alone and a Trophy Rack. Okay. Well done to Ezzy. And also nice to see Slaanesh in the list as well. You know, we've got shooting, we've got fighting in the Slickblade Sleekers. Oh my God, the Slickblade Seekers. Sigvald in there, none of the big demons in there. Then Cannonball Sub is a list run by Bryce, running Cities of Sigmar and the Veteran Cannoneers. He's running Wrathful Cycles and Master of the Paths with a Battle Mage, Callus and Toll, Frigga Marshal Relic Envoy, 2 Command Corps, Fusel Major on Ogre Warhawk, 3 Great Cannons, and then the Pontifex and 2 reinforced units of Free Guild Cavaliers. Close to what I would say the cookie cutter version of this list is. Solid. Like, absolutely solid list in the 4-1 section with no 5-0s for Cities of Sigmar this week at all. Just like last week when they were all also 4-1s. Christopher Blackwell is running a list called You're Such a Conformist. In darkness we shall be reborn. Scoff and hair flips. Very emo. Running a Soulblight Gravelord's Bacchanal of Blood list with Intercept and Recover and Scouting Force. Running Radikar the Beast, featuring again. Radikar hot right now. 2 units of Direwolves, Sekar, 3 units of Vargeists. Ladies and gentlemen, these Vargeists are popping off. Vampire Lord and Nightmare Steed, a reinforced unit of, a unit of Skirk True Blades, a reinforced unit of Blood Knights, and Death Rattle Skeletons. Wow. Very MSU. Multiple small units. Not absolutely what I was expecting from Soulblight Gravelords either. I was expecting Soulblight Gravelords to go the way of having big bricks of stuff, but these small individualized units are becoming very interesting. I'll look more into that. Joseph Sy was running a list called Abraxia's Dark Slaves to Darkness, which is a Slaves to Darkness Chaos Horde with a Scourging Grand Abraxia, a reinforced unit of Dark Oath Fell Riders, a small unit of Dark Oath Fell Riders, a reinforced unit of Dark Oath Marauders, and some Dark Oath Savages. Then a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, a reinforced unit of Chaos Chosen, perfect. A Exalted Hero of Chaos, and a Mindstealer Phalanx. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, obviously the powerful pick there in the Chosen, but everything else is gnarly. Absolutely gnarly. As I was reading through the list, I was like, oh, we seen something crazy? And then we got to the Chosen. But still, this is a lot of stuff that doesn't do a lot on the board. Very, very interesting. Then Kyle Kellett was running a Salvation Army list, which is Cities of Sigmar in the Veteran Cannoneers, running a Scourge Grand Pontifex and Estra, 3 Great Cannons, a Free Guild Marshal Relic Envoy, 2 Command Corps, Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, 2 lots of 10 Scourge Grand Cavaliers, a Fusel Major on Ogre Warhawk, and a Fusel Major on Ogre Warhawk. Very interesting. So we've dropped some units out of this that we normally see, Callus and Toll. But again, very kind of similar to some of the other cities lists. Now, I'd like to be clear as well. Last year, all we saw were cities lists that were like not Ironbreakers, Hammerers, and Rune Lords. So if you actually only look at the human section of the Cities of Sigmar roster, the only thing not represented here is Steel Helms, and we saw them go 4-1 last week as well. So what do we think? What's interesting about these lists is they are unexpected. I'd say that especially in the 4-1 section, many of these players, Matt Disciples of Tzeentch list is very different. Skaven is obviously insane. Obviously. Skaven pushing, Tzeentch pushing towards Zangor. OCR Bone Reapers is a very limited roster, so but still a great list. Slaves to Darkness being different from what you would expect. Fresh Eater Courts and Soulblight Gravelords, both definitely like diversifying what units you're seeing picked, but they're all the same units that those units are picking, that all those players are picking. So that's quite interesting as well. So we're seeing a trend, it seems, of moving away from like larger bricks and instead towards these like smaller units, which is quite interesting. Maybe they're easier to move around obscuring terrain. Maybe they're easier for trading over on objectives or doing tactics. Yeah, Ogres is a good example as well, which you saw from the 5.0 section. And Fred's list as well is also a great example, where it's definitely those core pieces in his army that are going to do great, but he spent 300 or so points on his heart renders that are doing tactics and grabbing little pieces of the board. So it seems to have become quite a like dynamic wide game versus like singular like big power pieces. I mean, obviously this is only just looking at this individual event, but I would say that also feels like a continuing trend from last week as well. So very different to what we saw last GHB, which is quite exciting. So looking forward to it. Let's look at the next event. Our next event takes us to England for the Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament. Pretty uninspired name, but it's also run by Games Workshop. So you have the Age of Sigmar GT in America, and now the Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament in England. So Games Workshop have the very, I don't think I've ever done this before. They've got the biggest event in 2 countries right now. Pretty incredible, so well done. A catch-up independent scene, try harder. Looking at the 5.0s, we can see, and shout out to Steve and the rest of the events team who run the events there, by the way. So looking at the 5.0s, we've got 2 5.0s, Skaven via Martin, and Cruel Boys, played by Jean-Baptiste. I think both of these are the French team who've come over to play at Warhammer World, so congratulations to both of those. Skaven and Cruel Boys also means 2 more armies in the 5.0 bracket now that are not the same as the other 3 armies, just as an FYI. Very diverse top end of the game. Martin was running a list called Gloin, which was a Skaven Clawhorde list using Scout and Force and Restless Energy with Lord Screech Vermin King. Wow, what a wild pick. A Warp Lightning Cannon, 20 Storm Vermin, 20 Storm Vermin, a Warp Lightning Cannon, and then the Scourge of Grand Gracier on Screaming Bell, 20 Clan Rats, and 20 Plague Monks, and then Kritok Foulblade. That makes sense. Now, I would say Screech, Storm Vermin, and Kritok are all bad choices. So this is a crazy successful army for what I think are underperforming units. Warp Lightning Cannon is interesting as well, maybe to pick up very individual units. Ultimately, you've got a lot of bodies on the board. You have a lot of objective control, and generally, Warhammer World's a pretty soft meta. Jean-Baptiste Amis was running a Gut Rippers army in the Cruel Boys. Gut Rippers for Cruel Boys, and he was running the Swamp Horde Bullies with Scouting Force and Attuned to Garan. He had a Merc Knob with Belcher Banner, a Reinforced Unit Gut Rippers, a Reinforced Unit Gut Rippers, and a Reinforced Unit Gut Rippers, Swamp Caller Shaman, Marsh Crawler Sloggoth, Monster Killers, Killer Boss and Corpse Ripper Vulture, a Killbow, some Bolt Boys that were reinforced, and some smaller units of Bolt Boys. Now, I personally think Cruel Boys are an A-tier army, especially when you overcommit to how many bodies it can get on the board. And 60 Gut Rippers is 120 health. That's very tough to deal with. Very tough to deal with. And again, gives us some more board presence. So we're getting multiple units again here. Lots of bodies on the board. Super interesting place the game is going. Let's look at the 4-1s. Look at the 4-1s. We can see again that we have a very diverse meta. We've got Yanish with Fresh Eater Courts, Phil with Daughters of Cain, Benjamin with Stormcast Eternals, Nicholas with Daughters of Cain, Mike with OCR Bone Reapers, George with Fire Slayers, Daniel with Cities of Sigmar, Colin with Daughters of Cain, Alan with Idnet Deepkin. A lot of Daughters of Cain there. Let's just be really clear. I'd say about as much as we saw Soulblight Gravelords in the last event. Didn't see very many of those here, which is quite interesting. So if we go and look at the actual lists, we can see Yanish was running a list called All Hail the Ushushi, which is a Flesh Eater Courts Impassioned Serfs list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force, using Ushran, Reinforced Unit of Morbeg Knights, 2 smaller units of Morbeg Knights, and then a Royal Decapitator. Then a Cardinal, 2 units of Ghouls, Beast Flares, a Gore Warden, all in the list. Again, look, no big, smashy, reinforced units. Lots of Lots of small units. Obviously, big monster in Yushan. Phil was running a My Back Hates Me Daughters of Cain Arena Veterans list. It's a lot of models to move around. Running Restless Energy and Scouting Force. Running Scourging Aran, Caress of the Croneseer. 3 units of Shadow Stalkers. The Scourging Aran Bloodwrack Shrine. 2 units of Sisters of Slaughter with Bladed Bucklers, both of which were reinforced. Then the Slaughter of Queen on Cauldron of Blood. And 2 units of Reinforced Witch Elves with Paired Knives. So similar to what we saw before, but the Shadow Stalkers replacing those units of Life Takers. But congratulations to Phil. That's great. That's still a good result, though. Benjamin was on a list called Iridan 666, which was a Sentinels of the Bleak Citadel Stormcast Eternals list, running Restless Energy and Master the Paths with a Scourging Aran Iridan, then Vanguard Paladors with Starstrike Javelins, then a reinforced unit of Reclusians, a reinforced unit of Prosecutors, Aether Wings, Knight Relector, Knight Judicate with Gryphounds, Knight Judicate with Gryphounds, which is becoming quite popular, and then a Knight Arcanum. So again, it's just good saves. You can play it all in a single block, and you can use some of those units to be aggressive and move forward. Nicholas Tassone was on a Daughters of Cain list with Restless Energy and Interceptor Recover. He's running Marathi, the Shadow Queen, 2 units of Life Takers, 20 Witch Elves with Paired Knives, Caressa, the Scourging Aran one, with Doomfire Warlocks and Paired Knives, Slaughter Queen, and some Shadow Stalkers. If you've never fought against them, why are they so good, Rob? I get asked. Because when you buff up a unit of Witch Elves with Paired Knives, you make them fight twice, they do an insane amount of stuff. So Mike Martin was running a list called Big Bookbone Meal, which was an OCR Bone Reapers, Mortars, and Council list with Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy. Running Catacross, Kavalos Death Riders, the Tetratic Cohort, Vought Martian, Morghast Harbingers, Mortek Crawler. So again, that big unit of Harbingers seems to really be carrying the faction at the minute. You aren't seeing lists where we're seeing triple Crawler that we saw previously. You aren't seeing MSU units. You definitely are not seeing Mortek Guard. So it very much feels like these Morghast Harbingers are carrying the faction at the minute. Also really easy to build and paint. Another list called George Elton. Another list by George Elton. And his list is called No, He's My Daddy, which is a Fire Slayers list running Intercept and Recover and Wrathful Cycles. He's got a Rune Father of Magmadroth, a Rune Son of Magmadroth, and then an Auric Rune Smiter, a Reinforced Unit of Hearthguard, some Flame Seekers, and then another Rune Son of Magmadroth, another Rune Son of Magmadroth, and an Auric Rune Master. Another thing to also note, now we're getting further into the edition, is we are getting up to 5 regiments now. We are no longer racing to the bottom because everybody wants the choice to go first. Not the choice to go first. Everyone wants to re-roll the priority roll on one of the battle rounds, which is the new change to this season. So we are seeing much more regiments and battalions being taken. So then we've got a Cities of Sigmar Veteran Cannoneers list being run by Daniel Scott. He's running Master Paths and Restless Energy. He's got 3 Gold Marshal and Relic Envoy, a Reinforced Unit of Cavaliers, another Reinforced Unit of Cavaliers, 2 Command Corps, a Warforger, a Fusel Major on Ogre Warhulk, 3 Great Cannons, Callus and Toll, and then the Pontifex Zenestra as well. Again, just 4-1, no 5-0. And then Colin Fowler was running a list called Fixing the Gender Representation of DOK, by DOK, which is a Daughters of Cain Arena Veterans list, running Master the Paths and Intercept and Recover with a Scourging Aran Bloodwrack Shrine, Reinforced Unit of Doomfire Warlocks, a High Gladiatrix, some Heart Renders, and a Reinforced Unit of Witch Elves with Paired Knives. Then a Croneseer, Shadow Stalkers, Witch Elves, Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood, Heart Renders, Sister Slaughter with Bladed Bucklers, and another unit of Witch Elves with Paired Blades. So I think the unit of Doomfire Warlocks is what he was referencing there. Not too dissimilar to what I've seen, but still not doing super well. Only 5-0. And then Alan Cross is running Idnet Deepkin Achillean Beastmasters list. Don't forget, we're waiting for the new Idnet Deepkin book to become official. That should happen in a couple of weeks. Running an Aspect of the Storm, a Leviathan, Morsar Guard, a King, an Alapex, another Alapex, a Reinforced Unit of Morsar Guard as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see more and more Alapexes hit the table post the new book. They are just very efficient and super effective. And Deepkin are also in a good spot if we do end up with a more MSU-orientated meta. Hope everyone had a good time at the event. Let's move on. Our next event is Feud on the Fens, which is also taking place in England, in Brampton, if you want to go over there. It happens every year, organised by Steve Follows. So if we take a look at the placings, we can see we've only got one 5-0, and that's Sylvaneth, ran by Dan Bradshaw. He is running a list called Dan Bradshaw's Feud winning list. Wow, very insightful and predictive. He's running a Lords of the Clan Sylvaneth list with Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy. And Lariel, a Scourge Garan Revenant Seekers, then a Branch Witch, some Gossamer Archers, Dreicher, a Warsong Revenant, and a Spirit of Durthu. Again, MSU, but I guess these are actually just multiple units across the board. Big monsters, smashing face. Definitely can all fight in like single places if they want to, and they got the opportunity to teleport around the board as well. So that's very cool to see. If we go and look in the 4-1 section, we can see we've got Cities of Sigmar, Daughters of Cain, Cities of Sigmar, Nighthaunt. We've got Undisclosed, Blaze of Corn, and then we have Maggotkin of Nurgle. So again, Sylvaneth adds, actually, so far in the 5-0 brackets across all of the events we've had, we haven't had a single repeated faction at this point, which is pretty crazy. So if we go and look at the 4-1s, we can see Alex Bruce was running a Cities of Sigmar Veteran Cannoneers list. He was running Attuned Garan and Restless Energy with a Freeguild Marshal and Relic Envoy, Cavaliers that were reinforced, 2 Command Corps, Freeguild Marshal and Relic Envoy, a reinforced unit of Cavaliers again, and then 2 units of Command Corps, and then Pontifex in Estra, and 3 Great Cannons, and then an Alchemite Warforger. So it does mean we've got 4 Command Corps in there, but unfortunately no 5-0 as of yet. Maybe 10 is the only answer. Russell Taylor was running a Daughters of Cain list in the Scath Coven with Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy, with a Bloodrack Shrine, 2 units of Heartrenders, a Cruessa Croneseer, the Scourge of Garan version, 2 units of Witch Elves with Paired Knives, Doomfire Warlocks, and Iron Scale Blood Sisters, and some more Blood Sisters. So again, Daughters of Cain running around that 5-0, 4-1 section, but again, can't break into the 5-0 category. Apart from, actually, no, we've got 1 5-0 for them so far. Jack Armstrong was running a list called Cities, which was a Veteran Cannoneers list, running Intercept and Recover and Master Paths with Pontifex in Estra, 2 units of Cavaliers, a Command Corps, and then a Relic Envoy, and then a Warforger and 3 Command Corps, a Freeguild Marshal, and 3 Great Cannon. Really feels like this meta list being played by everybody is just not going to work. Sorry, lads. Like, keep trying, but if you can't build the best, if the broke list won't work, it's not broke. Like, get the message. Then Kieran was running a list called Nighthaunt Main. Love Kieran, he's great. Running Restless Energy and Scouting Force. He's got Kurdos Valentine, the Craven King, Dreadblade Harrows, Harridans, and 2 Black Coaches, Lord Executioner, 2 units of Banshees, and some Spirit Hosts. Solid list, really good. And again, we saw Hazel do really well with this at the beginning of the edition, or the beginning of this GHB. We haven't seen anyone replicate the 5-0, but we have seen several 4-1s, which means it's in a healthy place, and I wouldn't like to see any of it get nerfed, to be honest, although we get a new book, right? So it's all going to change anyway. Mike Stewart was running the Stormcast Eternals list in Sentinels of Bleak Citadel with Iridan the Witness, 2 units of Prosecutors, Reclusians of the Storm Coven, a Lord Veritan, a Quest of Soulsworn, Knight Relictor, and some Vigilers. Very aggressive list, double units of Prosecutors, that's fun. Iridan, oof. Games Workshop took that guy from absolute 0 to hero with the new Scourge of Garan updates. Disappointing if he ends up moving away at the end of the year, because actually featuring in some lists is pretty good. Christoph, great human being, is running a list called 3 Bringers of Death. He's running Attuned to Garan and Master of the Paths with a Mighty Lord of Khorne, 3 Aspiring Deathbringers, like a champion, a unit of Skull Reapers, a Blood Secretor, a reinforced unit of Blood Warriors, some Wrathmongers, a Realm Gore Rich list, a reinforced unit of Blood Warriors, and some Wrathmongers. Don't let that list trick you. 2 units of reinforced Blood Warriors is an incredible wall of metal meat to try to shift. But doing the triple Aspiring Deathbringer is obviously great. And then Max Barton running a list called Rot Dog and the Dweebs, which was a Maggotkin of Nurgle Plague Sys list with a Scourge of Garan Rotigus, 2 units of Blight Kings that were reinforced, Harbinger Decay, 2 smaller units of Blight Kings that aren't reinforced, and Orgot's Demon Spew. So, like, the new Scourge of Garan Rotigus, very interesting. Maybe would have been very effective if we weren't going to a meta where maybe there weren't quite as many high armor saves as we saw in the last edition. But either way, I expect to see Nurgle around the 4-1 to 5-0 bracket most of the time. So that's pretty solid. So diverse 4-1 section. We haven't seen a repeated 5-0 yet in this weekend's event results. Pretty solid place for the game to be. Our next event takes us to Canada, where we have got the Thunderstrike GT 3 taking place. This was organized by Dom Elson. Shout out to Dom. And we had 34 people battling it out. In the 4-1 section, 5-0 section, you can see that Michael Nunamura from the Grudgebreakers group was playing Seraphon. This adds another army into our 5-0 bracket. We, as of yet, across the top, what am I on, my third event? Fourth event, we haven't had a single 5-0 army be the same. Pretty crazy. And it's Seraphon, which is even crazier because I think they suck. So Brendan Hepner was running a list called 69 Awoo Cruel Daddy 69. And he was running, oh wait, hold on, that's not on my 5-0 list. Let me get my Seraphon list. Sorry. Michael Nonamura was running a list called 2 List, which was a Thunderquake Starhost list with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths, with the Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur, Agrodon Lancers and the Stegodon, Stegodon Chief, Bacillon with Arcosotech, Skink Oracle on Troglodon, a Skink Starseer, an Engine of the Gods, and a Realm Shaper engine. And what only I can describe as a complete shock to me. I just don't understand. What is happening with this list? This is crazy. But very cool to see. I mean, a lot of monsters. Not that monsters make them any better, I guess. I guess a big unit of Lancers. I guess you can fight it all in the middle at the same time, which is fun, and YOLO it in, which is cool. So congratulations to Michael Nonamura. And then let's look at the 4-1s. And if we look at the 4-1s, we can see we've got Fireslayer, Slaves to Darkness, He-Knight / Nighthaunt, Cruel Boys. So again, mixing it up a little bit, and it's nice to see Slaves to Darkness in there by the fantastic Dayton O'Bray from Party of the Old Points, which is a podcast you can listen to about Age of Sigmar. And you got He-Knight / Slanesh again, which is cool. So if we go and look at those lists, we can see that our Cruel Boy Brendan Harpner list was running Cruel Boys with Master of the Paths and Restless Energy, with Gobsprak, a unit of Bolt Boys, a Slogoth, a Merknob with Belcher Banner, and then a Scourger Garan Swamp Boss Scumdrek, Gut Rippers, Monster Killers, Breaker Boss on Mybrick Troggoth, some Reinforced Gut Rippers, Swamp Caller Shaman, and then a Killer Boss from Great Nashtooth, which is an amazing war scroll. Go take that if you are playing. We have ended up, this is a great army. I think Cruel Boys are an A army right now. They've got so many tricks compared to other armies, which other armies just don't have to play. So, cool army. Cameron Tatrin was running a list called the Magmadroth Pizza Party, which with Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy was running a Runefather on Magmadroth, a Runeson on Magmadroth times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, 4, sorry. And then a reinforced unit of Hearthguard Berserkers with Berserker Broadaxes and a Rune Master. Loads of output, loads of smashing, loads of OC for these bodies on the objectives. It's cool to see. Dayton O'Bray was running a list, which I'm not going to read because it's too long. It's an entire paragraph. But continue. Well done. Thank you to Dayton. Running Slaves to Darkness leads to the First Prince list with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths. It has Be'lakor, a Legion of Blood Crushers, 2 reinforced units of Bloodletters and a reinforced units of Flamers, and then Eternus, Blade of the First Prince, and some Chaos Furies in his list as well. So only a 2-drop decision to go first. That is going against the grain, which is a very Dayton thing to do. And the decision to go for less regiments than more regiments. Everyone obviously taking lots of regiments right now. And we have seen 2 Legion of the First Prince lists now, which officially means they are broken. Carl Munro was running a Hedonite Slanesh Seeker Cavalcade list, running Glutos Oscullion, 3 units of Seekers, and some Simbranesh Twin Souls. Then a Shard Speaker, 2 units of Seekers, and some Slick Blade Seekers as well. I should also mention he was running a Tuntigaran and Scouting Force. Third Slanesh list we've seen do well this week. Pretty cool to see. Twin Souls and Glutos still carrying the army on like these one objective games that you need. So that's fun. Does depend on what missions they are playing. And then Michael Simeon was running a list called Why Does It Move? Why Is It Ethereal? Why Does It Have a 5 at Ward Save? Why Does It Work in Both Turns? Why Is It Shut Off Commands? Why are there 3? And why is it free? This is a Nighthaunt Deathstalkers list with Kurdos Valentin and a Black Coach, the Scourger Grand version, a Lord Executioner, a Cairn Wraith, and 40 Grimghast Reapers, a Guardian of Souls, a Knight of Triads, and 20 Blade Geist Revenants. Again, in that 4-1 section, no one's been able to really recreate that 5-0 magic for Nighthaunt, but they've been comfortably sitting around the 4-1 mark, and they've been doing really well. I hope everyone had fun at the Thunderstrike GT. A special shout out to Michael for doing well with that Seraphon list, which is genuinely crazy. So that's great to see. Well done. Our next event takes us to Sherbrooke in Quebec in French Canada for La Classique d'Été AOS. So this event has got another 5-0 for our 8th or 9th independently different or like uniquely different faction in the 5-0 section, organized by, well, played by Loac Grosson, running Caradron Overlords. So he was running a list that ran Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy, best battle tactics, running Brock, an Arcanaut Company, an Ironclad, Reinforced Unit of Thunderers, an Aether Chemist, a Company, a Frigate, and some Sky Wardens. Obviously, the new book is out now. This list and army will change. I got to say also, if you are watching this and you're one of the KO people who watch the KO review, I want to say that those, upon reflection, those 2-up armor save boats are probably going to make your army way good. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But either way, fantastic by Loic. It should be really proud of themselves. So if we go and look at the 4-1 section, we can see we've got Soulblight Gravelords, played by Frederic, who's great. Sylvaneth, played by Anthony. Justin's run Cruel Boys. Gabrielle has run Maggotkin of Nurgle. Guillaume has run Lumineth Realm Lords. And Mark is letting the team down with Broken Cities of Sigmar by only going 3-2. Apologies, Mark. Didn't mean that. That's mean. Okay, so if we go look at the lists, Frederic was running a Bacchanal Blood Soulblight Gravelords list with Radikar the Wolf. What is happening with Radikar? Radikar is so popular right now. 2 units of Skirkin True Blades, Vordry, 3 more units of Skirkin True Blades. That makes 5 units of Skirkin True Blades. A Vengo Lord, so hot right now, so popular. 2 units of Blood Knights. This is very different to the other Soulblight lists we've seen. The Soulblight lists have been super different as well. They've all been very, very different over the course of this review. Wow. Then we've got Anthony Bouchard with a list called First Big Tourney, running Sylvaneth and running the Free Spirits battle formation. Had Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy, great choice. With Alariel, Belthanos, Branch Witch, Spite Revs, Dreicher, and then Revenant Seekers, a reinforced unit. Wow. Again, another big monster mash with that unit of Revenant Seekers. Very, very cool. Also, if it was your first event, then congratulations. That's a great result. Then we got Justin Lapont running a new list called Not Saves the Darkness, someone called Zav. I don't know who Zav is, but let's call him. Running a Cruel Boys list in the Swamp Horde Bullies battle formation with Scouting Force and Master of the Paths. He was running Kragnos, some Gut Rippers that were reinforced, and 3 units of Monster Killers, a Swamp Caller Shaman, another unit of Monster Killers, a Breaker Boss on My Brute Troggoth, and 3 units of Monster Killers. Now, Monster Killers have been taken in this amount since the launch of Age of Sigmar 4, but for some reason, no one's ever been that bothered about it. But anyway, Kragnos. And we haven't seen Kragnos in a hot minute, probably because cannons will shoot his head off, which is great. Gabriel Sampson was running a list called Superfragicalistic XP Alahortalitkux, which is a Maggotkin of Nurgle Plague Sis list with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths, running Rotigus, Blight Kings Reinforced, Harbinger Decay, Blobe, some Blight Kings, Horticulix Limix, some Plague Bearers, Feculent Nalmor, and then the Regiment Renowned, the Godsmark Ascendant with a Demon Prince. Now, I would expect Nurgle to be more popular and doing better, but as it was really well pointed out in the chat, there has been quite a large amount of turning off ward save abilities that have been handed out recently. So maybe the main strength of the Nurgle army, in that it has ward saves on everything, is maybe something we're seeing. That might also give some sort of conversation to the rise of this more MSU spread out meta, because you can't turn off ward saves on everything. But it's worth saying that ogres never have a ward save as an example, so that doesn't explain why they're doing so well. But anyway, there's Nurgle. And then Guillaume was running a list called Range is Dead, which is a Lumineth Realm Lord Scenari Counselor list with Intercept and Recover and Wrathful Cycles, with Eleanor and Elethor, a reinforced unit of Sentinels and Blade Lords that were reinforced as well, Dawn Riders and Riverblades, an Enlightener, and then Light of Altharion, and then the Regiment of Renown, the Saviors of Cinderfall, as well. So we actually have seen over the past couple of weeks more Lumineth popping up, and we've seen them do really well, especially if they've gone very heavily into the Light of Altharion and the Eleanor and Elithor, the twins. They've both been super popular, but we've seen like Riverblade lists. We've definitely seen lots of Blade Lords as well, both of which feature here. Sentinels have also popped in and out as well, and also bringing in things like the Saviors. So I think Lumineth are also in a good spot, and I think you can build them into like a 4-1 army at least. So there's also some really positive picks there. And I've been saying that about most armies, which is crazy. Anyway, that's the event there. I hope everyone had a good time. Our next event takes us to Pennsylvania, in Coraopolis, Pennsylvania, if you get the chance to go. But it's at the Fabricator Forge. It's a great venue. I also just found out, this is it. It's this old... I think it used to be a fire station. So it looks great, loads of aircon. But I just found out it's right next to a Jamaican restaurant, so I can get myself patties. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. So fantastic. Obviously, maybe the best venue on earth now. So you should go there. Anyway, if we go look at the 5-0s, this is huge news. We're Jake Myers, who has his own YouTube channel called Old Man Gaming. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. Old Man Gaming 734 on YouTube, if you want to check it out, where he talked about this. Also, as I understand it, Jake's one of the nicest people anyone's ever met. That's what people tell me. So there we go. But he was running Flesh Eater Corpse, which means we've got our 9th, maybe 10th, I'm not keeping track, faction that's, again, unique in the 5-0 bracket. That's really good. Anyway, so he was running a list called the New GHB Test. I think he succeeded, which is a Lords of the Manor list using Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy, best battle tactics. Running Ushran, Crypt Haunt Courtier, Crypt Horrors, and then a Boron Cardinal, a Vargolf Courtier, 2 reinforced units of Morbeg Knights, and then a Marrow Scroll Herald. Very, very cool. So Morbeg Knights still good, it does seem. Again, the Courtier out there, but not quite as MSU as we have seen some of the armies, but still 1, 2, 3, 4, and Ushran, lots of units making the play. So congratulations. That's cool to see. If we go look in the 4-1 section, we see Preston was running Cities of Sigmar, somehow ruining the game by not winning the game. Michael Rausch running Blades of Khorne. Ben Kloss running Magakin and Nurgle. Walter Brock the Eternal running Lumineth Realm Lords as well. So let's go look at these lists, shall we? Preston Schlegel was running, hi, I'm Preston, and I cheat literally every phase. It's nice of him to tell you ahead of time. Running a Cities of Sigmar Collegiate Arcane list. I've said that wrong. Collegiate Arcane. That's the right way to say it. Wrathful Cycles and Intercept and Recover. Running Zenestra, 2 reinforced units of Scourge Garan Frigo Cavalier, a Battle Mage on a Hurricanum, a Warden King, some Hammerers, a Frigo Cavalier Marshal, and then 2 Celestial Hurricanum. What? I don't understand how he went 4-1 without all of the units that apparently make it broken, which they still don't win any games. Congratulations to you. You should have taken the other units that everyone else takes, where they also only go 4-1 with those other units. But you actually did it in a cool way, so congratulations. Michael Rausch was a big, tall, swaggy Shadow Sword. We love that guy. Running a list called Khorne, Hear Me Out. Running Intercept and Recover and Attune to Garan. He's got Might Lord of Khorne, a Rumgor Rich List, Scar Bloodwrath, 2 units of Wrathmongers, Skullcracker, a Blood Securator, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should have stopped at 8. 10 and 11. That would have been narrative. 11 Exalted Deathbringers. Obviously, the dream is that he plays Mason's Deathmaster list that we saw previously. That would have been amazing. He didn't take as many Deathbringers as we saw Deathmasters. But are we in the age of spam one hero? And is that a brilliant age to be in? Let me know in the comments below. Ben Kloss was running a Nurgle list called Flies and Demon Prince, which was running Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles in the Affliction Cyst battle formation with Rotigus, 2 reinforced units of Blight Kings, a reinforced unit of Blight Lords, Soppity Bar Piper, and then the Demon Prince in the Godsmark Ascendant. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Then we got Walter Brock the Eternal with the Green Knight list, which was a Lumineth Realm Lords list running Master of the Pass and Intercept and Recover, running Avalon 2 units of Stone Guard, an Enlightener, Eleanor and Elithor, the Light of Altharion, 2 more units of Stone Guard, a Cathalar, and the Saviors of Cinderfall. So again, completely separate to what we saw the other Lumineth player play. Completely different list archetype. Running Stone Guard is interesting and just wild. And then finally, Rob Molshine was running a Disciples of Tzeentch Weird Flame host list called Chariots of Fire, running Restless Energy and Attuned around with the Lord of Change, Blue Horrors, 2 lots of Pink Horrors, a Change Caster, 2 units of Flamers, a Fate Skimmer, a Fate Skimmer, a Faint Skimmer, and then 2 units of Screamers of Tzeentch. Now, I look like an idiot because earlier on in the video, I was talking about the fact that Tzeentch players are going to pivot very heavily to Zangor so they can do more damage. But as we have seen here, it seems like Tzeentch players are pivoting into being insane. It seems like it was a great event. I know the venue is really nice. Now I know I can get myself a patty from down the road. It's even better. If everyone gets a chance to go over to Fabricators Forge, you should give it a try. Our next event takes us to Nebraska, which I found out today is a real place, which is fun to see. And this is for the Big Beef Beatdown, which is important because the closest place for food at the Big Beef Beatdown is where you can get, it's called Calvin's or something, but you can get yourself a frozen butter burger or something like that. I don't know anyway, but I assume that's why it's a Big Beef Beatdown. So cool. I love that. Anyway, if we go and look at the 5-0, we can see that we've had our streak ruined by Wyatt, who is running Flesh Eater Courts, which means Flesh Eater Courts now officially broken. They've got 2 5-0s, so congratulations to them. In the 4-1 bracket, we have Skaven by Keegan, Lumineth Realm Lords by Joss, and Soulblight Gravelords also by Cole. So Wyatt was running a Morbegs list in Lords of the Manor with Flesh Eater Courts, with Intercept and Recover Master Pass, with Ushran, Crypt Guard, Marrowscroll Herald, Morbeg Knights, and Morbeg Knights again. Then an Abhorrent Cardinal, Reinforced Unit of Morbeg Knights and Beast Flayers, and a Vargulf Courtier. So congratulations to him. Well done to Wyatt. I suppose the burgers are on you. And then Keegan was running a list called the 3 Mouseketeers. Excellent list name. Great list name. Which is a Skaven list with the Gathering of the Clans, with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths, with the Greyseer Screaming Bell, Doom Flayers, 3 Scourger Goran Brood Terrors, a Verminlord Deceiver, and 2 lots of Clan Rats. Wow. Very unique. All the monsters in the middle. Fantastic. And then Josh Chang was running a list called Don't Mind Me, LRL is Totally Fine, which is a Lumineth Realm Lord Scenari Council list with Intercept and Recover and Master Paths, with Severith, an Enlightener, a Cathalar, Eleanor Alether, the Scourgy Grand Light of Altharion, Blade Lords, twice reinforced, and then the Saviors of Cinderfall. That's just a lot of incredible heroes in one singular package that can be very densely located together. Congratulations to Joss. I hope everyone had a great time at that event. Thank you to Zaldor in the chat. I almost missed Cole's list. Sorry, Cole. Running a Soulblight Gravelords Bacchanal of Blood list. He went 4-1, running Scouting Force and Intercept and Recover with a Vengo Lord. That's it. I'm officially calling it. They're back. The Vengo Lords are currently very popular for Soulblight Gravelords. Varghese, Radikar the Beast, also currently back. Deadwalker Zombies and Varghese, Vampire Lord, the Skirgan Trueblade, Reinforced Unit of Beauregard, a White Lord on Skeletal Steed, and another reinforced unit of a unit of Baronites that were reinforced as well. That is a lot of health that's on the board. A very tanky character in the Vengo Lord that's very, very cheap right now. Well done to Cole. Hope you had a great time. Our next event takes us to Canada for the TAPS Games Age of Sigmar tournament, where we see Daughters of Cain get a 5-0. So now we've got 2 armies with 5-0s in the broken category. And then we got Andrew Trues, who got Daughters of Cain a 4-1. Chris Ackerman with Nighthorn with a 4-1. And then Jacob Friesenhan with Gloomspike Gitz. Now, if I'm right, Jacob is 14, and this might also be his first GT. So can we get some love in the comments for Jacob? That's fantastic. All right, let's go look at the actual army, shall we? We can see that our Jared is running our Daughters of Cain list with 4.5 Triple the Cauldron. That's his list name. Running Restless Energy and Intercept and Recover. He's got Hag Queen on Cauldron of Blood. 2 units of Sisters of Slaughter with Bladed Bucklers. Witch Elves with paired knives. Scourge Garan, Caressa. Cainite Shadow Stalkers. Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. And some Canary Heartrenders. And a Scourge Garan Blood Rack Shrine. So, loads of characters to support loads of output from our different fighting units. I'm unsurprised to see Daughters of Cain still doing so well. In the 4-1 section, we can see, let me just double check. This is Andrew Twos with his Daughters of Cain list called Son or Daughter, don't know yet. We'll see it in 2026. Oh, congratulations to Andrew. He's having a kid. Anyway, he's running the Shadow Patrol Daughters of Cain list with Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy. With Marathi Cain, some Bloodstalkers, and then a Scourge Garan, Bloodrack Shrine, a reinforced unit of Blood Sisters, and then the Regiment of Renown, Bundo Whalebiter. Now, this is a huge moment for Honest Wargamer fans because we're big Bundo fans. So well done having Bundo in there. So now now we're getting seeing different Daughters of Cain lists as well. The last Daughters of Cain list was different. We've had quite a variety in how they play. So a massive congratulations to Andrew. We love Bundo. All right, then Chris Ackerman was running a Nighthaunt list just called Nighthaunt. He had Scouting and Intercept as his battle tactics, and he was running the battle formation, Vanishing Phantasms. He had a Lord Executioner with... Lord Executioner. Then he had, it's written so weirdly. A reinforced unit of Craven Throne Guard, a reinforced unit of Craven Throne Guard, a reinforced unit of Dreadscythe Harridans, a reinforced unit of Bladegeist Revenants, a Reikenor the Grimhailer, a unit of Chain Rasps, a unit of Chain Rasps, and then a Scourge Garan Black Coach. That was terrible to read. But congratulations to Chris. Black Coach, Craven Throne Guard, 2 units of them. Wild to see. We love that. Then Jacob, it's got a list called New. Oh, yeah. Was running a Scouting Force and Wrathful Cycles. Were battle tactics. He was running a Squiggle-Lanching, Gloomspike Gits. He had Scragrot, reinforced unit of Boingrot Bounders, a reinforced unit of Boingrot Bounders, 2 reinforced unit of Rock Guts, a Dankhold Trog Boss, and a Squig Herd. And I said literally earlier today, why is no one running double Bounders, double Rock Guts? And here's Jacob being a champion, running them and being our only Gits in the 4-1 section so far this week. Jacob should be so proud of himself. Well done, Jacob. Then Andrew Ferguson was running a Nurgle Taliban of Nurgle list with Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles. A great and clean one. Reinforced unit of just a unit of Plague Bearers. Sportsbox Scrivener, Gutrot Speen, Rotmire Creed, Harbinger Decay, Lord of Plagues, Reinforced Blight Kings, Lord of Afflictions, and the Lord of Afflictions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an alternate Nurgle list as well. Several Nurgle lists in the 4-1 section, and all of them are different. This might be the most diverse meta that's ever happened in Age of Sigmar. Our next event takes us to Norway for the 2d6 OsloHammer event with 20 people battling it out. In massive news, we almost had a Videld triple, which all 3 brothers, Knut, Geir, and Johannes, got 3 of the top 4 spots, which is amazing to see. In first place, though, the undefeated brotherly champion is Knut with a Sylvaneth list, getting a 5-0. So if we take a look at the list, we can see he was running the Wargrove of the Everdusk with Aetherort Machineries, and his battle tactics were... Restless Energy and Scouting Force. He had a Tree Lord Ancient, Dryads, Kurnoth Hunters that were reinforced, 2 units of Tree Revenants, Belthanos, Warsong Revenant, and then a unit of Kurnoth Hunters with Scythes. So lots of smashing there. Loads of big damage coming from 2 bricks of Kurnoth Hunters with Scythes, and that gives us our second Sylvaneth 5-0. Indeed, they are broken. Martin Rome was stopping the brothers from getting the top 3 spots with Lumineth Realm Lords, running Master of the Paths and Restless Energy as battle tactics, and the Sonari Council as a battle formation. He had Severith, a unit of Wind Chargers, that Scourging Grand Light of Altharion, which is so popular, a reinforced unit of Sentinels, reinforced unit of Wardens, the War Sages, a unit of Riverblades, and an Enlightener. So Severith featuring a lot as well. Haven't seen like reinforced units of Riverblades, in this build, which is what we've seen in other lists. But that also puts Luminath in the 4-1 section. Ideth Deepkin with a new book on the way, run by one of my personal heroes, Geir Videlt, running 60 Thralls. That's the name of his list, with Intercept and Recover and Scouting Force. He was running the Ishran Council, and he had a Lotan, an Achillean Alapex, another Alapex, a Ishling Guard and a Leviathan, then a Scourging Garan Achillean Thrallmaster, and 60 Namati Thralls, and an Ishran Soulrender, an Ishran Tidecaster. Absolutely insane. With a new book on the way, obviously that's going to change up a lot, but that is such a unique army and playstyle. That's really fun. And then Johannes Vedeld was running a Flesh Eater Courts list in Lords of the Manor with Wrathful Cycles and Attuned to Garan, with Ushran, Crypt Horrors, Morbeg Knights, Royal Decapitator, Cardinal, and Morbeg Knights, and a Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist. So that's everything from the Norwegian event. I hope you had a great time. The 2D6 Oslo group is just so fun, and congratulations to everyone for doing so well. Our next event takes us to New Zealand, where for no one's present, the event organized by Stefan, shout out to Stefan, we have no 4-1s, and we only have one 5-0 played by Jess Lee. Shout out to Jess. I hope you're doing well. The list is called Shooting is Dead, Long Live Shooting, which is a Lumineth Realm Lords list with Ellen and Elithor, one Hurricane Spirit of the Wind, 20 Sentinels, an Enlightener, then 10 Blade Lords, 10 River Blades, the Light of Altharion, the Scourge of Garan version, and then 20 Wardens as well. So it does seem like LRL now with LRL also getting a 5-0 also puts us up to either 10 or 11 unique factions in the 5-0 section this week, which is pretty amazing. So congratulations to Jess for making that happen, but also LRL also doing well in the meta. Our last event before we get to the conclusion is the Partisan Games AOS event with 10 players battling it out. We can see there were no 5-0s, but we got a couple of 4-1s, Lumineth Realm Lords, Slaves to Darkness, and Stormcast Eternals. Our LRL list was called Garan Cowboy Elves Go Moo, which was running Attuned to Garan and Master the Paths as battle tactics, with Avalanor, Alarith, 2 units of Stone Guard, Elena and Elithor, and some River Blades, then Light of Altharion, some Starshard Ballista, and an Enlightener and a Stone Mage. So this is a second of the LRL list that we've seen run a bunch of Stone Guard, and also the second time we've seen a really diverse LRL list as well. So we've seen them a lot in the 4-1 section doing well. Stuart Russell was running a Strike First coin flip list, which is Slaves to Darkness, Champions of Chaos, with Restless Energy and Intercept and Recover, with Be'lakor, Chaos Chosen, a Chaos Lord, a Demon Prince, another Demon Prince, another Demon Prince. And then, we have another all heroes list. 1, 2, 3 Demon Princes with Be'lakor, a small unit of Chosen, and a Chaos Lord. Incredible to see. It is a hot hero summer. It is a hot hero summer. And then Dylan Patel was running a list called Sweaty Little Tryhard List Dragons, which was a running Master the Paths and Intercept and Recover, which was a Stormcast Eternals list, running Vandus, a reinforced unit of Annihilators with shields, Quest of Soulsworn, and a reinforced unit of Stormdrake Guard, then a Knight Judicator, a Quest of Soulsworn, some Vigilers, a Knight Arcanum, and a Knight Relictor as well in this list. And that is everything for this weekend. And as I was just saying to the chat before we started to do the math on this, the most broad meta I've ever seen. I don't know if it's because everyone's sticking stuff on the table and they're just trying to figure it out. Also, we're about to see 4 new battle tomes hit the meta, which is also pretty incredible. So a lot to look at there. So loads of info from those armies, which are going to shake up the meta as well. We're about a month into this GHB, which means in a couple of months' time, we'll see also the battle scroll changes to see what needs going up and down. But it definitely feels like if ever there was, been doing this for years now, years and years and years. If there was a diverse meta, like this is it. The armies that are doing well are very broad. Player skill definitely seems to be very important. Not only are we seeing different armies, like each of the armies is very different from each other and very diverse, but also in addition, You've seen a ton of meme lists, like the Demon Princes we just saw, the Death Masters, the Exalted Heroes, all very, very fun. So we're seeing meme lists do as well as, meme lists do as well as just some like normal lists. So it's been pretty interesting. Like it's been really eye-opening. And again, I've been making a joke of it as well, but like people are still, and I've tried to say this in the past few like stats videos, people are still learning the game. They're learning the battle plans. They're learning, they're learning the battle plans. They're learning the battle tactics. They're learning how to play this new tempo game. It's all very different, and there's lots to learn and lots to play. So you would expect actually there to be a constant source of iteration over the course of the game. I think it's been a bit wild and a bit disingenuous to have seen lots of people decrying different armies as being broken over the past few weeks. I found that to be very uncomfortable in a space where, this has taken 3.5 hours to record this video. So, I've been looking through these in detail with a bunch of the people who've actually won the events popping into the chat and being like, I've done this, I've done that. So, I don't know, like, just go out there. I'm going to say my classic line. Go out there, put your models on the tabletop and go play some games, because it looks like it's a really fun game, very diverse meta, very diverse lists, and you can have a great time. I'm going to say it right now, the best the game has ever been. There you go. Thanks for watching my video. I'll see you soon. Bye.